Good evening, everybody. I'm thinking today of trying to express one of my feelings and one of my thoughts for the day. It's about the fact that as we grow up, we need to learn to think. And unfortunately, many times, this is a process that has been bypassed. People tell you how to think and what to think. No way. What we want to do is like in grade school. They start out by teaching you to read anymore by looking at this group of characters and saying anytime you see that group of characters, that's this word. Whenever you see the F-O-R, one after the other, you say that's a 4. If you see the word T-A-C-K, that's a tack. But where does the thinking really come from? What they need to do again is what they used to do. They used to have a great big row of characters up above the blackboard, and the teacher would go through the row of characters and say A, B, K, D, E, as well as A, B, C, D. In other words, we didn't learn just the name of the character, we learned the sound of the character that it's supposed to represent. Then eventually you get to the point where you learn about that some of these characters are really vowels, and then you learn the various ways that you might pronounce a vowel. There was one extra character in our alphabet up there that is not, I don't see it on the school boards when I visit them anymore. The character was O-O. 2 O's together is oo. And M-N-O-U-P. That's interesting because O-O is not a vowel. It's a separate character. Now, you see it all the time. You look at the word B-O-O-T, boot. When you see the O under other configurations, it has a different name, or a different sound, I should say. Anyway, we learn that if a vowel is followed by another vowel, or it has a vowel following the character that follows it, that vowel can reach around that character that follows it and tell that vowel to say its name. So when we see, for instance, B-O-A-T, we say the O, tell the O to say its name, so that's boat. If we have the word J-A-N-E, the E reaches around and taps the A, and then the J-A-N-E is pronounced Jane. Jane, because the A had to say its name and the E didn't have to say anything at all. It's interesting that we had kids in the school that didn't know how to even use English. They hadn't learned English in their life yet, but they learned to read English. They knew by looking at the word, how the word sounded. By the time they were in the school for half a year or so, they could communicate with the rest of us. They learned English fine. They didn't have to have special courses in English, and they already knew how to say the word, and they learned what the word meant. An interesting concept when you think about it. Anyway, my point is that what these kids were learning was a concept. The concept was that a group of characters represent a sound, a set of sounds. You put the sounds together, you have the word. That was a way of teaching you to think. You would look at each character, put the sounds together, and you'd have the concept of that word. Today, too many people don't look at what's happening. They don't see the what is. One of the reasons they don't see the what is they don't know how. They haven't learned to think. How do you put these facts together and come up with the concept or the actual truth of what you see? Or I shouldn't say truth, the actual honest truth of what you see. It is unfortunate that some people try to paint the world a little differently, and as a result they can give you a false premise to put into a concept that is not true any longer. It's up to us to learn to think for ourselves. When you're young, if you don't learn to think for yourself, you're not going to be able to do so well when you get older. Most children, before they're ever in grade school, do pretty well at thinking for themselves. They see what is out there, and they have a thought, and they know that this and this and this are happening, this other happens. They see things more as they are than adults seem to. And unfortunately, adults are able to go against what is obvious and decide that something else is possible. Very often they have a misconception of what is really the precept, and therefore they come to a wrong conclusion and they don't really understand the concept. Anyway, that's my thought for today, and hopefully when you grow up, and those of you who are grown up will learn to look at these facts and put the individual entities together and come up with a true concept of what's honestly out there. And don't blame anybody else because they gave you wrong information. It's up to you to look at your own information. It's up to you to make your own way in life. It's up to you to be successful. If you find that you did something and it failed, that's all right. You'll just learn something else. You learned something that didn't work, and now you can put that back in your memory bank. And next time you won't do the same thing. What do they call insanity? The idea of doing the same thing over and over and over and expect a different outcome. Let's not do things that way. Let's say, if I need water and I can't find water any other way, I'll dig my own well. If I need to eat, I'll learn to raise my own food or hunt my own food, as the case might be. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. Have a good day, everybody. See you next time. Bye.